This is Taylor. I am the TA for your class online. I see that you photographed plants. Oh, I'll apologize now in case you hear some noise in the background. I have two parrots. There's a big cockatoo and macaw in the other room, and sometimes around this time in the evening they start to get kind of loud and obnoxious. So I'll apologize if they start to make too much noise. But anyway, to get to your photographs, kind of start, I'll kind of go through kind of real quick and just take a quick look at everything. Um, yeah, yeah. To start off with the composition of this, I really enjoy it kind of going from one corner of the frame to the other. It's really nice. Your eye moves through everything really well, really nicely. I think you did a great job with that. It's interesting what it is. I kind of enjoy just the fine details of the kind of dead parts, if you will, make it a little more interesting to me. Um, as far as I'm not sure what camera you're using, it looks like a little grainy. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, but it depends on your gear also. But the exposure looks pretty good. It might be a little bit dark. I might brighten it a tiny bit if you have Lightroom or any kind of photo editing capabilities. I would maybe consider looking into that, making it just a little bit brighter, a little bit, bump up the exposure a tiny bit. But moving down to this I would really watch kind of like the backlit things like this. This reflection right here kind of makes it really difficult to see what you're photographing. Um, this one compared to that and some of the other photographs, it doesn't work quite as well for me. It's not as strong as the other ones. Um, it's just kind of there's part of a tree. I see the vents. The other things are a little bit distracting. Yeah, but definitely watch these backlit things like this. They can really get in the way, and it's really bright and makes it almost hard to look at it at the photograph. Here it's not bad. I like the composition a bit more than the one above. I don't know how I feel about this part right here. I don't know what it is, a railing or tarp or something like that. It's kind of breaking the frame. Um, I know some people would really hate it. I don't know if I can't say I hate it, but I don't know if I would like to see it without it or not. Might have to see one with, one without to really make that decision. But right now it's okay. It's not like the worst thing in the world at all. But again, composition isn't too bad. Overall, I like what's kind of coming out at you. Sometimes consider what's in the background. The window isn't too bad in this situation. Sometimes it can be distracting, but just kind of keep the background or what's behind your subject in mind when you're photographing. This I like this a bit more. You're pulling in or pushing in closer, kind of like the balance of the two flowers or the flowering parts on each side. And the composition with this coming right into your face is really nice too. Um, Overall, though, as I'm looking through all the photographs, a lot of them are like a little bit flat. They could use like a little bit darker in the shadows. The exposure may be a little off. It may just be what camera you're using. I'm not sure if you're using a camera phone or using something different, or if these are just like maybe smaller JPEGs, but they need just a little bit of work here and there. This one actually looks really good. It actually exposure is really nice in the black. So everything I just said about the other ones holds true, but this one is really nice. Exposure is great. I actually really enjoy just the leaf being on the, I don't know, as a wood pedestal or chunk of wood here. I really enjoy that. It's just kind of a peaceful moment, more meditative, I guess, instead of more like here's a flower or here's a plant, here's another plant. That's a little bit makes you think and operates differently on a different part of the brain, if you will. This is nice too. I really like how you got in close and you're changing your perspective. Again, I wonder what camera you're using. It looks like there's a lot of noise, grain or noise in this situation with digital photography. And the blacks I'd like to see a little bit darker and the whites maybe a little bit clearer, so maybe the contrasts increased a bit. It's something to do probably just with the camera and looks like some digital artifacts going on. But some minor editing here and there, and you'll be really set. I like this also. It's not quite as interesting as these compositions, but I like that it's something else that's different that's included in the series, so I think that it works pretty well. Again, same thing with the blacks and just some of the noise and things like that. I think it's just the camera. Let's see. This one, it's okay. I don't care for it as much as the other one. It's a little bit further away. It doesn't work quite as well. Your composition isn't poor though. I like this going through the frame. This kind of makes your eyes move around, but it needs a little bit of help. It's hard to get a good shot of this with these bright spots in the background. So I would want to open up the shadows, but it's a little difficult to make it work just right with that background being so bright. So keep that in mind when you're photographing as well. I like this though. I like how the light's coming through, so it's a little bit different. So it's more about the light for me, and a little bit less about the actual plant. It makes me think of photosynthesis and back to my science days. Yeah, and this I really enjoy a lot. It's great composition. It's almost classic in a way. I've seen like several black and white photographs throughout my days looking at photographs. I really enjoy just how the shadows go across and you have the lines going down. It moves everywhere. I mean, it's a really beautiful photograph, really strong composition, like great composition. And some of my favorite parts, these little like squiggly bits that kind of break up the composition slightly. They're kind of like the unexpected, the fun parts of it. Um, Again, just a little bit with the darker spots. If you can make them a little bit darker, the highlights are pretty nice in this one. They're not bad, but if you go a little bit darker and just make the photo a lot stronger. But overall, yeah, you're doing a pretty good job. Uh, yeah, again, I like that one a lot. I like that last one. I think those are two of my favorite ones that you have. Yeah, but overall, good job. Check out your photo editing software if you have capability to. This one is nice also. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I look forward to seeing what you're doing next time around.